I don't know how we're doing on time, but I'll tell you a story.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I went and saw a guy at the request of a mutual friend who is a wealthy guy, and he wanted me to kind of go and help him through some stuff in his life. So protect the guilty. We'll leave names and this is
Say it.
two accurate references out. But anyway, so this guy, he's walking around and he's showing, and he's a multi-gazillionaire, and he's balling, and he's walking around and showing me all of the stuff. He's got his chest out, figuratively and ego wise, and telling me all that's how wonderful, incredible his life
Right.
is. But the reason I'm there talking to him is because his second wife is getting ready to leave.
Mm.
And our mutual friend said, man, if anybody can help him, he can help. Can you go help? So I finally stop after he's gone. I said, what's the secret here? And he goes, man, it's culture. He said, everybody that works for me, they do more than what they get paid. They work, they come early, they stay late, they want to be here. Everybody. I said, okay. And what do you do to nurture that? He said, man, I come to the office. He said, before I even start my work, he said, I make the rounds, and I pat people on the back, let them know how important they are to this company, and how much they mean, and all this stuff. And then he kind of woke up to why I was there. And he kind of started talking a little slower and dropping his head. And I said, look, time out. Exhale, okay?
Come on.
You're not impressing me. You and I both know why I'm here. You're telling me that you have a company full of people here that feel valued and loved, and they make such a great contribution. And the reason I'm here is because your wife is sitting at home and does not feel valued, does not feel loved, does not feel important. And your kids feel estranged and feel like they don't matter in your life.
So the job's a mistress.
He was crushed. But why? Because the guy wasn't doing that on purpose. Nobody ever taught him.
Yeah.
They just, man, leave my workload at home, at the office. I get home and it's a different set of rules. No, it's not. You're always, if you're awake, you are building as a man. You're building your family. You're building your mind. You're building your career, building your financial portfolio, building your physique, your health. You're always building.
Come on.
And we just weren't taught that way.
Mm-hmm.
Especially like in the church growing up, we were taught, man, if you want to, love God, honor God, and build a great family, then go do that. If you want to go out and make money and build a big business and an empire, go do that, but you can't do both.
That's exactly how we were.
I reject that. Not only can we do both, we're supposed to do it all. Because when Jesus said, be perfect, the word perfect,
no, come on.
Come on. But what he's talking about is he's talking about the measure.
Yeah.
He's talking about the circle. He's not saying be a 10. That's not perfection. 4 all the way around is perfection. It just means the sum total of its equal parts. So what he's simply saying is be complete.
Be complete.
Be equally developed. And it's not that difficult if you live your life from a circular perspective or consideration.
This is good.
Meaning that everything is a system.
It's a system.
Yeah. So you build a system, the system builds your life. That's what they say in the business world, right?
Yeah, in the business world. I mean, that's McDonald's from the very beginning. They built the system.
Why are French fries the same in Houston, Hong Kong, LA, Miami, or London? Doesn't matter who put the fries in the fryer, who served it, doesn't matter. There's a system that guarantees consistency in the product.
This is true. Mm-hmm.
And most of us, we're fueled by what is urgent and what is an emergency. Yeah. We don't live systematically and methodically and intentionally.
And this actually that's actually what prepares us for when we do go through a season of a pitfall, or because of the consistency, the discipline that we'll have to be able to approach it. And most of the time we're running around with like our house is on fire. Like when crisis hits us, we don't know how to handle it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so in training men, and what's a attribute, or how can I say, what do you think is holding back men from learning these kinds of traits? Do you think fear is holding them back?
Yeah, it's fear, pride. I try to always take that in consideration, because when you come at a man and he feels like you're tearing down everything in his life, it doesn't go well.
No.
Yeah. But, self-awareness is a huge thing. Self-awareness is a valuable trait that the average person doesn't have. Just know where I'm great and know where I'm terrible. So we try to do these sessions with building men in the context where there's accountability, there is confidentiality. We refer to the classroom that we teach in as the cave.
The cave.
What happens in the cave stays in the cave, because you gotta get a man to open up and
So in the business world, but what about in the church? We see a lot of women serving in the church, almost every type of ministry, but we see the man dwindling down more and more and more and more. On the spiritual side, do you think, again, fear is withholding a lot of men from reaching their mantle, their anointing, their calling that they have?
In my opinion, again, only that's all it is.
Mm-hmm.
See a couple of things. One, we go way back, and just to very short condense, we understand what we were dealing with, a couple of decades ago, where 40s, 50s, 60s, when the church culture in this country is being established.
Yes,
men are at war.
Yeah.
And the churches were predominantly women. So the church and all of her expressions and whatever were highly feminized.
Mm-hmm.
From, pastel bulletins to pretty flowers inside the door to lyrics of songs and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
And the average man would walk into, a beautiful flowery lobby with pastels and, aroma.
It smells good.
Get hugged. Yeah. Get hugged by 4 strangers before he's even been led to a seat. And then, then there's the love songs that are sung to Jesus. I'm not knocking them. I get it.
Yeah.
I can sing Jesus,
Yeah,
lover of my soul. But think about a man who does not have church culture, has not been introduced to Jesus, and walks in, and it almost feels erotic.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he's like, dude, get me out of here. Give me a 12-pack and a cigar so I can go somewhere and feel like a man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, that's not right, but that's the reaction to it.
Yeah.
And I think the reason why there's some dwindling of it now is because the response that the church had in general. I'm not trying to indict all churches. I'm a church guy. Love the church, committed to the church. But in response to the assault against masculinity, we thought, well, if you put a muscle guy up there, put a man's man, a he-man up there as the men's leader, and take all your men out smoking cigars and bull riding and what have you, you're going to make them. And it didn't work, because that's not the man God is looking for.
If you enjoyed this clip and you want to see more, click right here. If you want the full podcast, click right here.